We have double trouble, guys. We have the Morelia Neo 3, Japan, US 7. We have the Morelia Neo 3, Japan, 7.5. I really don't want to make this video long, so here's the 7s. 7.5s here. We already know how these bad boys fit. Look beautiful. But as I was mentioning, if you guys didn't watch my last video, watch it so you get a better breakdown. But pretty much, like, my toe was perfect except for my little toes. And like I said, I wear 7.5s in all my cleats because whenever I wear 7.5, my feet and my toes feel scrunched, like all the way to the tip. And like I mentioned, I love having my toes, touch the border of the cleat. And I love having my mini toes, like my little toes, to have as little space as possible so that it's as flush as possible against my foot. I love a tight fitting cleat. That's why I love Vapors. Like, they're my favorite cleat because it just fit me so well. But that's why I always wear 7.5s. I don't like wearing 8s because they give me the same sensation that these cleats give me, that there's like some extra space in that little toe areas. And I just don't like it. I don't like having any space at all. I like having my fit feel like a glove. And that's why I always wear 7.5s in all my cleats, except for maybe Mizuno's, because I heard that Mizuno's run a quarter length long. And I was like, I need to love these cleats. I need to love them. So we got 2 pairs. Here's the 7s. Let me not get them confused because they're the same colorway. Let's put these guys back because I got a feeling I'm going to have to return 7.5s because I know that the 7s will probably fit me good. Sorry, pit bulls. Moving over. We're doing important things here. Here's the 7, guys. Remember, we sized down for the very first time. I've never done this. I've never sized down ever before. So, about to find out if it was worth it. Uh-oh. Oh, yes. This is the size. I knew it. Dang, I knew it. I knew this would be the case. Gosh darn it. I knew it. It's going to be tight. But it's the feeling that I like. Woof. It's tight. But just like I like them. It's a little scuff on them. Makes me kind of annoyed. We'll be good. We'll be good. Let's try the other one for good measure. Gonna have to break these in for sure, though. Feel my feet cramping a little bit already. Because it's really pushing my pinky toe. It's my pinky toe that's pushing. Alright, let's loosen them up. I got them laced up. Let's loosen them now. So we can actually fit in because it's going to be a tight squeeze. Oof. Left foot is even tighter. Dang. Alright, left foot. Since it's, it's a little wider than my right. Gotta get these guys right. Ah, tight squeeze. This is what I'm talking about, guys. This is the exact fit. There's a little scuff here, but I don't think it's anything major. Looks like some extra plastic was in there, but this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly it. This was the type of fit I wanted to get. So, you guys know now, if you like a tight squeeze and you're used to a tight squeeze in your cleats, I would recommend sizing down. Right there, boom, mic drop. Leave the video. But I'll break down the differences between the 7.5, which is my usual size. That's usually tight, but it's not in Mizuno's. And then a 7, which is actually the correct size for me because I like a tight fit. But let's go ahead and talk about them and why I like it. In the 7s, you can tell my little pinky toe is right here and it's pressing hard against this leather material right here. And here's my other toe. It's pressing against it tight. Here's my other one pressing against it. Here's my other one, has like barely space in between. And my toe length is actually like perfect, just like the other ones. There might be a little less space, but nothing I can't really notice. And then obviously on this side, perfect. And actually on the width, maybe it's because I didn't tighten these as much when I put them on, but width-wise, they feel good. I thought that was gonna be bad. I thought width-wise is gonna be the pain point. Like they would fit well, but then the width would be messed up. But actually, they feel really good. They feel outstanding. I already talked about not using this lacing hole because it just pushes my Achilles into the boot. But this will be a good hole once the cleats actually stretch and fit in really well. This is gonna be a good hole to use because then obviously some of this material might like expand because of the break-in period and just, you know, be a little looser. So this second hole is gonna be nice because then I can get a really nice lockdown feeling. But for right now, I do feel locked in. Still feel really comfy when I'm walking around the carpet. The studs feel good. Now, obviously, I'm just feeling a hot spot right on this little pinky toe because it's actually pressing against the material like I like. You already see some crinkling happening on the side, but I'm telling you, once I break these in, it's gonna fit exactly the way I want. Now, the interesting thing is like, when I get on my toes, you see a little bit of extra material on my right because my right's a little bit more narrow, but on my left is spot on. But on my right, you can tell there's a little bit of extra material. But like I said, that's why it's going to be really nice to have that second hole. But let me go ahead and try on my 7/2 and tell you guys why I really wanted to size down. Because if you didn't watch my last video, I definitely recommend it, but I know how it is. So make sure to subscribe, comment down below what you guys ended up doing in your Mizunos and if you actually sized down so we can help people. All right, I'm not trying to get confused. I'm gonna grab the 7/2 on the right and switch it for the 7 that's on my right now. We have the 7.5 on my right foot now and the 7 on my left. I can immediately tell a difference. It's kind of crazy, but these feel almost like I broke them in and they overstretched slightly in the toe box area. It's not to say that it's bad. Like, it's not to say that this isn't a good fit because I think this going 7.5, like maybe like your true size, is a really good thing to do if you like a little, like just slightly a little extra room. But if you like your cleats really tight and conforming where you barely have wiggle room, like I can definitely still wiggle my toes, but here, like it just feels like they're kind of like this, you know? They can like kind of spread out. Like I could definitely spread them out. But here, it doesn't feel like I can spread my toes out. It feels like they're like this and I could like slightly stretch them. But the good thing is that on my left already, I can feel how it's forming to my foot and it feels just like a 7.5 in all the other cleats. But let's do a comparison. So in the width, they feel almost identical. Definitely a little tighter here in this midfoot area and this lateral area on the 7. And here, I don't really have like any hot points anymore. I did wear these for like a good while I was trying to decide whether or not I wanted them. But I did remember I had like a hot spot here, like around this midfoot area on the outside and inside area, but it's pretty much gone. So these feel really good already, but you guys can tell. So my pinky toe is here, but then here's my like second to little one. So my toe is here, but it's not pressing against the material. Like there's definitely a little bit of gap. I don't know if you guys see that, but I can press down and I'm touching the sole of my shoe. And then same here, like I don't have, here's my other big toe, my little one, next to that one. is right here, but you can see I can still press down against the sole. Then I'm coming up to this one, and he's right here. So I still can press down against the sole here. And then here's the one next to my big toe, and I can press down against here. You guys can see that, like, you guys see that, right? Like, I'm missing this space completely. Look, I can put my thumb in there, and yeah, I can literally press against that material. And then my big toe is right here, and there's a little bit of spacing, nothing too serious. And on this side, it fits my toe. Big toe is definitely flush against this, but not like pressing against it, but it's flush. It's good. Now, moving to the 7, you guys can see I don't have any way I can press against this. Like, if I press in my thumb, this is the toe next to my big toe. So my big toe is right here, literally right here. And then this is the one next to my big toe. Look, I can't put my thumb in that space because it's so tight. Like, my toes are literally all pressing against the material. Like, I can't touch the sole. I can't really, until I get to this point right here. Right here I can. Remember here, look at that. I could put more than half my thumb in there, in that space. Look, literally, it's pinched down. And then here, I can only put, here's my little big, my toe next to my big toe, right here, and like barely. You guys can see that crinkle right there. On like this side, where I can put, I'm missing here's my toe. Right here is my toe next to my big toe. The toe next to that is right here. The toe next to that is right here. The toe next to that is right here. And then my pinky toe is right here. So you guys can see almost like where that line is, where that stitch line is, that's where my toes are. So I'm missing this segment right here. Where here, you can tell I'm past that stitch line. Like, we're talking about barely any space there. And like I said, just talking to you guys right now, this is already stretching. So I'm super confident. You guys can tell just slightly that this is the 7.5 and this is the 7. Just slightly, barely. It's really hard to tell. Really, really hard to tell. They look almost identical, but you could tell in person that this one's slightly, ever so slightly longer. You guys, I love you, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to like. Make sure to comment down below what you guys want to see out of this comparison before I go ahead and return them. But the main premise is that the 7.5 feels good. The 7.5 feels good. If you are okay with some slight spacing in the toe box area, then 7.5 is great actually. And being true to size, which is my 7.5, is really not that big of a deal. I can hit the field and play 100%. I could play and be happy and not need to double sock. I get good lockdown in the 7.5. I get a good fit and comfort fit. And it all really just comes down to preference. When I tried the 7s on right here, I just felt at home and it just felt like all my other cleats I've worn. Remember, I always wear 7.5, but Mizuno's just run that quarter length long, and because I size down, I get this really like tight gripping feel. And you can just tell just by wearing them like I did just in the duration of the video, that they already started to form my feet and stretch. So that's a great sign that you can get a tighter fitting cleat if you really like that tight fit, and that it'll just break in to that normal size that you like if you really like a tight fitting cleat like I do. For me, my preference is to have all my toes be pressed against the material so that when I break it in, there's just that extra ever so slight wiggle room in there, but nothing that like overstretches. The 7.5s feel like cleats I've had for like a year and a half, 2 years that just overstretched, that were made out of leather and just overstretched. And that's how the 7.5 feel. The 7s feel like my Predators. They feel really tight. They feel like my Vapors. They literally feel like my Vapors too. So I know they'll break in and fit me correctly. So in my personal just experience of trying both the 7.5, which is usually my true size, and sizing down now, I would recommend sizing down if you love a glove one-on-one feeling with your cleat, or if you're used to having a little bit of wiggle room in your cleat that isn't anything that's gonna bother you or be bothering you mentally when you're playing, then, or if you're just used to having just a little bit of wiggling room in your cleats, then actually going true to size is the correct call, because there's no way I can double sock in either one of these, and that just shows like how nice the lockdown is on either one of these. So as long as you go, as long as you do you, and if you're confident with what you're doing, I think you can get a really good fit true to size. That's my whole breakdown of the cleats. Let me know down below what you guys want to see in comparison before I return to 7.5s. But for my personal opinion, like I said, I would size down if you really like a tight fit. And if not, then just go true to size. You're really not really losing, but for me, I love that grip feeling that's one-on-one with my cleats, because I know they'll stretch a little bit in the hot spots. And right now, I could just tell you guys, potentially a good hour hard session of soccer to 2 hours, a hard session of soccer, this will break in perfectly. I'll keep you guys updated. But let me know in the comment section, what questions do you have for me? You guys want to see another kind of comparison between the cleats before I return them? So let me know. But I'm keeping the 7s. I hope this helped you guys out. Leave it down in the comment section if you guys have any questions so that we can help anybody out. It's really hard to find content over Mizuno's. And I think I might be getting another pair, guys. This is exciting. I might get another colorway. So let me know what other colorway I should get down below. Thanks, guys. Peace.